So in today's video, I'm sharing a budget meal prep with you guys because grocery prices are insane. And these meals are all going to be chicken, fish, and vegetarian. Since my last one was beef, we're going to be prepping some breakfasts, dinners, lunches, snacks, all of the above, all on a $50 budget. Let's go into Walmart and see what we can find. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk you guys through the store with me and kind of show you some things that I'm grabbing for this $50 meal prep. I'm gonna grab a dozen eggs. These have gone up in price significantly, and I'll have the prices for you also when I do the grocery haul here in a little bit. I'm also gonna grab some cream cheese. That's $1.48 per block. And then I wanted to get a rotisserie chicken. We're going to use this for a couple of different meals, so it will be budget friendly. I'm also going to get some hummus that we're going to use for some snack / breakfast boxes. I'm getting the roasted red pepper. I'm also going to grab a block of extra sharp cheddar cheese that I'll be shredding up, and then some Black Forest ham. I'm going to use that for breakfast sandwiches and some salads. And then I'm also just grabbing some plain chicken breasts. These are going to be for a crock pot chicken chili that is delicious. And then I also need some canned beans and veggies for that particular recipe. So I'm going to get some dark red kidney beans, some petite diced tomatoes. You could get regular diced tomatoes, but I'm getting petite. And then I also need some canned veggies, so some corn, and then I'm also going to get some canned green beans for a side as well. And I will have all of these recipes plus the shopping list linked in a printable for you guys down below. Long grain rice is always a budget staple, so I'm going to grab a bag of that. And then I also need some mayo for a few different recipes. I'm going to be making chicken salad, so I obviously need mayo for that. I'm grabbing a bag of frozen tilapia. We are going to make some fish cakes with that. And then for some extra flavor for several of the recipes, I'm going to get some green onions. Those are 88 cents per bunch. And then I also need some carrots for my snack boxes with the hummus, and then for another soup recipe I'm making. I tried to get just a single head of romaine, but they were out, so I grabbed the 3-pack. And then I also need some green grapes for my chicken salad, tomato for my lettuce salad, and then I'm also going to grab a couple lemons for a couple different recipes. Those add a lot of flavor for not a lot of cost. And then I am going to get some croissants. Those are going to be for chicken salad and some breakfast sandwiches, and my total was $54.56. One of the most common questions that I get here on my YouTube channel is, where do you get your glasses? And the answer to that is Warby Parker, and they're actually sponsoring today's video, so thank you to them. I love working with them here on my channel because I use their glasses and their services, and they are just fantastic. If you're not familiar with Warby Parker, they offer everything you need for happier eyes. They offer eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams, and you can shop with them either online or in stores. The best part is that their glasses start at just $95, including prescription lenses. In fact, my daughter just broke a pair of her glasses, and so we ended up being able to get a pair to replace those high dollar ones from Warby Parker for only $95. So that was awesome. You guys can try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free. There is no obligation to buy. They also ship free and include a prepaid return shipping label. To try your 5 pairs of glasses at home for free, you can go to warbyparker.com/Jen. That's warbyparker.com/Jen. I will have a link in the description box below. And I also wanted to share with you guys what I got in my home try-on this week. Okay, so this clear pair of glasses I have on right now, I always get questions about those. And yes, I got them from Warby Parker probably a year ago. But the first pair in my try-on box was the Durand in Rosewater. One thing I really like about Warby Parker is they offer different widths of frames, and so I can choose wide because I have a big head and it's annoying to find glasses that fit me, and so Warby Parker makes that super easy. The next one is the Ava in polished gold, and I think this is definitely one of my favorites from this set of glasses. The next one is the Landon in forest green. I think those are pretty cool. I have a pair kind of like them, except they're brown, so I don't know. I really like that they offer a lot of different colors as well. You guys know that I feel like glasses are a fashion accessory grocery and I always use them as such. This one I really like as well. This is the Bromley in Blue Bonnet Tortoise, and I like the blue combined with the brown in the frames. And then the last one I tried on was the Winston in Jet Black. That one I think maybe looks a little bit too dark for my face. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think down below, but I think the wire ones or the polished gold ones are my favorite. So don't forget to check out Warby Parker. I'll have all of their information in the description box below where you guys can get your free home try on. I also wanted to mention, if you have an iPhone, you can get the Warby Parker app and you can actually do a virtual try on, which I think is super helpful in picking out the frames as well. But either way, you get to pick out 5. And so there is no doubt you are going to like one of them. Once again, the link is warbyparker.com/Jen. Okay, so as you saw in the store, my total was $54.56. This will definitely vary depending on what you have on hand and what's available in your store. I end up having to spend a little bit more on a few things because the original things that I had planned for my budget were out of stock, but that's fine, we'll make do. Okay, so definitely about $50 does not get you as many groceries as it used to. And I did kind of buy some convenience items today. The whole thing about that is really you have to kind of toe the line between, you know, buying from scratch ingredients that you have to cook yourself and then also taking a little bit of help from the store, because it's just not realistic that we're going to have time to cook everything from scratch all the time. But these are the 7 meals that I'm going to make out of all of these ingredients, which I think is a pretty decent deal, especially since we got some pre-made items. Okay, so we are going to make some breakfast sandwiches. Everyone loves those. Ham, egg, and cheese. We're also going to make some snack boxes, which will probably be used for breakfast. I'm also going to make some chicken salad sandwiches. Super excited about that because I haven't made chicken salad in a while. I'm also going to make chicken rice soup. We're going to do some chef salads. We can either do that for dinner or for lunch meal prep as well. We're also going to prep a dinner of fish cakes, rice, and green beans. And then the second dinner that we're going to prep is a slow cooker cheesy chicken chili. Okay, so I want to show you everything that I got as well as the prices for everything. All of these ingredients, shopping list, recipes will be in a printable down in the description box below. So all you have to do is click on that, put your email address in, and you can download the printable with all of these recipes and the shopping list. So first of all, I got some grapes. I'm going to use these for the snack kind of bento boxes. And then also I like to put grapes in my chicken salad. I just think that it adds like a really nice sweetness. You could also use raisins or craisins if you wanted to. These were on sale and I ended up spending $2.12 on just this little bag of grapes here, but it will be enough for what we need. I also got some green onions. That's something that you can, I don't want to say splurge because it is relatively inexpensive. Green onions are 88 cents, but same with like green onions or garlic. Obviously you can substitute dried spices if you need to. However, something like this is going to give you a lot fresher flavor, and I like to put green onions in my chicken salad as well. And then we're also going to use some of these for the chicken rice soup. Okay, so eggs have gone up quite a bit in price. I'm actually a little bit shocked at how expensive eggs have gotten. I remember I used to be able to get them for 88 cents a dozen. Now a dozen eggs at Walmart is $2.98. I haven't priced them at Aldi recently, but they're probably maybe a little bit cheaper than that. We're going to use the eggs for some hard-boiled eggs and then possibly some egg salad if we have enough. I'm not quite sure. And then also use them for the breakfast sandwiches. I did go ahead and get some roasted red pepper hummus. This was actually something that I decided to get for convenience sake. It's only $2.67 at Walmart, which I feel like is a pretty decent deal. Obviously you can make hummus yourself at home. However, you do have to purchase tahini if you want to make authentic hummus, and that can be kind of pricey. So this is an instance where it might be cheaper for you just to, you know, buy the pre-made. I also got some carrots. We're going to use this for the salads, the snack boxes, and also the chicken rice soup. These were 98 cents. I also got 2 of the regular conventional cucumbers. I actually wanted to get 1 English cucumber, but they were out, so I kind of substituted these. These are 66 cents each, so for both of them, $1.32. We're gonna use these for the hummus and for the salads as well. Rice is still a really great deal. You can get a 1-pound bag of rice for 76 cents. at Walmart, and we're going to use this for a side for dinner and then for the chicken rice soup as well. This was another thing that I ended up having to spend more money on, was the romaine lettuce. So I wanted to buy just kind of like a single head of romaine lettuce, but they didn't end up having that, so I had to choose this one. It was $2.98, which still isn't a terrible deal. You do get quite a bit of lettuce out of that. I got a tomato for the salads. This one ended up being $1.29. I probably could have got a Roma tomato and it would have been cheaper, but I saw those and went ahead and got that instead. I got 2 lemons. We're going to use this for a couple of different recipes, ranch dressing and then also the chicken salad dressing. I like to put a little bit of lemon in that. Lemons at Walmart are 64 cents each. This was $1.28. I also got some chicken breast. This is going to be for the slow cooker cheesy chicken chili. You don't have to pre-cook it ahead of time, so it's super easy. This is about 1.5 pounds, and the price per pound is $4.48, which has gone up considerably. The total price for this chicken breast was $6.45. Okay, so I got some cream cheese for the slow cooker chicken chili, and this is $1.48, so this has also gone up considerably. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this used to be 88 cents at Walmart, so that's kind of crazy. I did also get a pound of sharp cheddar cheese. We're going to use this for several different recipes, for the salads, the breakfast sandwiches, the slow cooker chicken chili. This block of cheese is $3.98. I also decided to get some croissants, kind of a little bit of a splurge, I guess, although I do think these are a pretty decent price. You can get these in the bakery section at Walmart, and they're only $3.18. You get quite a few in there. I think there's about 12 in there. So we're going to use some of these for breakfast sandwiches, and then also we're going to put some chicken salad and lettuce on some of them for lunches as well. I got some Black Forest ham for both the chef salads and the breakfast sandwiches. This is a pretty decent price. It's $3.48 for 1/2 pound there at Walmart. Okay, so rotisserie chicken, this is another kind of shortcut, and this is, I would say, definitely pricier than buying a whole chicken. This is $6.97 at Walmart. However, we're going to end up using this for 2 meals. So I'm going to pick most of the breast meat off and make chicken salad out of that, and then we're going to use the rest of the chicken to make a chicken stock to go ahead and make our chicken rice soup with. So I do think that even though you're paying a little bit more for the convenience of already having it done, it's still something that if you're strategic about it, you can stretch it. And I didn't price a whole chicken at Walmart. I want to say it's probably around $4, $4.50, maybe something like that. So, you know, you're paying a couple dollars extra to have it cooked already for you. Again, something else you have to weigh out. Your time is worth money too. I did get some tilapia fillets. This is a pretty good deal at Walmart. There's 1 pound in there, and these are $5.68. We're actually going to make some fish cakes with these, which are delicious. My kids love them. It's a favorite meal of ours. So I'll show you guys how to make those. Super easy. And then I did go ahead and pick up some mayo just because I'm going to be using it for several different recipes. But this is a way that you could save money on this particular haul if you already have mayo at home. This was one of the cheaper containers I could get. This was $3 for the Kraft mayo, 15 ounces. And then lastly, I did get some canned items. So I did get some canned green beans. We actually like canned green beans. I know that a lot of people are averse to canned vegetables, but many times they have the same nutritional value that fresh vegetables do. You can also get frozen vegetables. The green beans are $1 for this family size can, so not too bad. And then I also got some corn, some dark red kidney beans, and some petite diced tomatoes. Those are all for the slow cooker chicken chili. The corn is 58 cents. The dark red kidney beans are 78 cents. You could use any type of beans you have on hand also. If you don't want to buy beans, you can use black beans, pinto beans, whatever. And then the petite diced tomatoes are 72 cents, and we'll use those for the chicken chili as well. So that's everything that I got. Now let's get to cooking and prepping. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna put together is this slow cooker chicken chili. This is actually a recipe out of my cookbook, the Essential Pantry Cookbook, which has a lot of great ideas for like using up pantry staples, and a lot of them are budget friendly as well. I'll link this down below, and then I'll also have this particular recipe recipe linked down below as well. And since this is a meal prep video, I'm gonna show you how I would meal prep this, but I'm actually gonna put it all together in the crock pot right now. So instead of putting it all in the crock pot, if you wanted to prep this ahead of time and either put it in the freezer or just keep it in the fridge, you can combine all of your ingredients together except the shredded cheese and the toppings in a gallon Ziploc bag. This is a reusable one. And then, like I said, you can either stick it in the freezer or the fridge, and then all you have to do when you want to make it, dump it in the crock pot. Or sometimes what I do too, if I want to prep stuff like this, is I actually just put it in the crock, and then I take the whole crock out and I put it in my garage refrigerator. That way all you have to do when you're ready to cook it is take it, put it in the slow cooker and turn it on. Okay, so the first thing that you're gonna do is put your chicken in the slow cooker, and you need either 3 smaller chicken breasts or 2 large chicken breasts. Either will work. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle my seasonings over. So this is a mixture of chili powder, cumin, salt, pepper, and dill weed, which the dill sounds kind of weird in this, but just trust me, it gives it like a ranch flavor, which is really, really good. So highly recommend that. And then I always keep chicken bouillon on hand because it's a lot easier than keeping like huge cans and boxes of chicken stock. So this is what I use. I always consider it just a pantry staple because I always have it in my spice cabinet. So I'll put that in there. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of hot sauce. You could use sriracha. I'm using Frank's Red Hot. You can add more or less if you'd like to as well. Okay, so next I've got some garlic. I have garlic on hand, I always do, and so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. However, if you don't, you can always add garlic powder. It's gonna be just as good. I would use probably about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, maybe. Obviously, I did not include that in my groceries from Walmart, but like I said, definitely just use garlic powder if that's what you have on hand. Okay, next I'm gonna add 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, 1 can of corn, don't drain it. And then I did go ahead and rinse and drain my beans. I'm gonna add those. Okay, and then lastly, you just wanna put your cream cheese, kind of just set it on the top there. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on. I'm going to cook this on high for 4 hours, but if you wanna do it all day, you could also do it on low for 8 hours. The cream cheese will melt, and then we'll kind of combine everything once it's cooked, and we'll shred the chicken. This recipe is so good. It's a total crowd pleaser, and every time anyone asks me what's your favorite meal in the cookbook, I always say this one because it is so delicious. Okay, so our Fiesta chicken chili is almost complete. If you use a whisk and you just be patient, you can work the cream cheese. Obviously it's melted back into the soup. And then this is the chicken that I pulled out, so you can see that it shreds like super easily. So I'm just gonna shred this and add it back into the crock pot, and then we will shred up some cheese and add that as well. So to finish this chicken chili, we're gonna add a cup of shredded cheddar and just stir that around until it melts in, and that is done. Now, I normally do taste it, obviously at the end, to make sure that there's nothing that it needs, make sure it has, you know, enough salt, enough pepper, chili powder, whatever, but that's it. Super simple. And like I said, it's really easy to prep ahead also if you want to do a freezer meal. Okay, so here is our cheesy chicken chili from the crock pot. I'm like shooting some photos for my blog, so that's why I have this on a little table here with some garnishes and a towel. But yeah, it turned out super good, really delicious. You're definitely gonna have leftovers, so you'll also have, you know, some leftover to take to work too. Anyway, it's delicious. Yum. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make the chicken salad out of this rotisserie chicken. So I'm gonna shred or cut this up. I've got my lettuce here, grapes, I need to wash those. Got my mayo, the juice of 1 lemon. I'm also gonna put some green onions in there, salt, pepper, some dill weed, and then I like to balance out the lemon juice in the dressing for the chicken salad with just a little bit of brown sugar. You could also use honey. It's actually, I learned that from the Pioneer Woman, her recipe for chicken salad. Okay, so for the green onions, I separated these from the greens and the whites, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off the very ends of the whites. And then these are gonna go in the pot with my chicken. So I put the remainder of the rotisserie chicken in here and my onions. I'm probably gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm gonna fill this up with, well, not fill it up all the way, probably up to like here, with like cold water, and then bring it to the boil and simmer it for, I don't know, probably about an hour. We'll pick off the rest of the meat and strain the stock, and then this is what we'll make the chicken rice soup with. Okay, I'm gonna add a bay leaf to this, and I'm just gonna add some peppercorns. And then, I don't know, maybe about a teaspoon of salt. We can always add more. Okay, if you have celery on hand, you can add celery to this. I'm gonna wait and put the carrots in after we do the stock. Garlic, you can put garlic in. So anyway, I'm gonna find the lid. Where's my lid? Oh, here. Okay, bring this to a boil. Okay, so before I squeeze the lemon for the chicken salad, I'm gonna go ahead and zest it because I wanna use this in the rice that I'm gonna make with the fish cakes. Okay, so I've got a bowl here. I'm gonna go ahead and make my dressing. So I need about, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. I'm gonna add our lemon juice. That was kind of a lot of lemon juice. So I'm probably gonna add maybe about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay, I'm gonna add some dill, dried dill, pepper, maybe about, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then we're gonna add some green onions. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in my chopped up chicken. I mostly just used the breast meat. It actually gave me a lot more chicken than I thought it was going to. And then, I don't know, on the grapes, I'm just gonna use a handful, maybe 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so I am going to save one of these heads of romaine for the chicken salad sandwiches, but then the others I'm gonna cut up for chef salad. Okay, so I want to show you guys how I portioned out the chicken salad. Hello. For meal prep. So I've got 2 of these divided glass containers with chicken salad in one section, some lettuce, and 2 of the mini croissants. So the idea is that you kind of build it on your own when you're ready to eat so it doesn't get soggy. And then for the other 2 croissants, I just have those in little baggies, and then I have the chicken salad separate with the lettuce. So my thought also was that maybe for these 2, you could also eat it on lettuce leaves, or, you know, you could also just eat it with crackers or by itself. But yeah, the chicken salad turned out really good, and I'm glad I made it because I haven't made it in a long time. Okay, so for the eggs, I'm gonna actually hard boil 6 of them, and then the other 6 we're gonna cook up for the breakfast sandwiches with the croissants. So I have washed and spinned my lettuce dry, and I think I'm gonna have enough for 4 salads. So these are disposable salad containers. I got them on Amazon, so I can link them down below. I've had these for a long time, so I don't use them a ton. I'm trying to use them more just so I can make more space in my pantry. But even though they're disposable, the plastic is recyclable, so you can still recycle them. And then for the rest of the lettuce, I'm gonna wash it like in whole leaves because we're gonna use most of that for the sandwiches. So these are the rest of my green onions that I had left over from the chicken salad and everything. So I am gonna divide some of these between the salads. I'm probably gonna use some of them for the fish cakes. And then I may also mix in some of these with the eggs when I do the breakfast sandwiches. I think that would be like a nice flavor in with that. So we'll see. Okay, so for the tomato, we don't need it for anything else, just the salads. So I think I'm gonna cut this into like wedges. If I cut it up too small, they'll get kind of watery in the fridge and then it'll make the lettuce soggy. So just want to avoid that. My hard-boiled eggs are done, so I've got a bowl of ice here. I'm just gonna place the eggs on top of that, and then I'll fill this up with cold water and let them sit in there until they are completely cool. Okay, so for the rest of the ham, I'm just gonna cut this up into bite-sized pieces, and we're putting it in with our salad. So it's gonna be kind of like a Cobb salad situation. Fun fact, Adam does not like cold grilled chicken. So if I ever make him salads for work, he doesn't want cold grilled chicken on them. He'd rather have like ham and turkey or like, you know, some type of like Cobb salad deal, not cold grilled turkey or grilled chicken. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel my hard-boiled eggs. I have this little egg cracker contraption. I was actually very skeptical of it, but it does honestly help peel the eggs a lot easier, especially if you're boiling like newer eggs like I had to do today. Okay, so full transparency, I was gonna make homemade ranch dressing, which I totally could have made because I have some mayo left. However, it is starting to get later in the day here and I don't really want to be a hero, so you know what? We're getting out the old Hidden Valley Ranch, and I'm just gonna portion this out into some containers, and I'll show you the salads prepped. As Connor would say, gotta have the ranch from the valley. All right, here we go. We got 4 salads prepped. So my idea with these was to have them for lunch with a little bit of the chicken rice soup, which I still need to show you guys. Although I think this could definitely stand on its own as a meal. Just depends kind of how much you want to eat. Either way, these are a delicious way to do meal prep. And this is the kind of salad that I make that makes me like excited to eat the lunch that I prepped, you know, because one thing about meal prepping is it's only helpful if you actually eat the food that you prepped. So I'm gonna get lids on these and I'll show you the soup. Okay, I've got a bowl here and I'm gonna go ahead and crack 6 of my eggs in there. Okay, I'm gonna splash a little bit of milk in there, but you could also use water or half and half, cream, whatever you have on hand. And then I'm gonna add, I don't know, probably a little more than a tablespoon of the green onions. And then I have some everything seasoning. This is what it looks like. It's just like salt, pepper, garlic. I'm gonna add some of that. Okay, and then give these a whisk. I've got a nonstick skillet here with just a little bit of butter in the bottom. And I'm gonna put in my eggs. Okay, so I was trying to cook this all in one piece so I could like cut the eggs apart and put them on the sandwich. I don't think that's gonna happen, so I'm just gonna cut it in half and flip it. All right, we're not gonna win a beauty contest with these eggs, but it's fine. It's still gonna taste good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the heat off because they're gonna continue to cook and they're almost done on the other side anyway. Okay, let's assemble some breakfast sandwiches. So the croissants, you do have to cut them, unfortunately, but that's fine. We'll survive. Now, I do wanna say, these croissants are obviously kind of small, so you probably wanna eat 2 for breakfast. Me, I'd probably eat 1 and then add like a banana or an apple or something like that. But if Adam eats these this week, he'll probably eat 2 per serving. They do have larger croissants at Walmart, but I was obviously on a budget, so these are cheaper. Okay, so basically I'm just gonna kind of put the egg and I don't know, a couple slices of ham on each one, and then I'll cut a piece of cheese and add that on the top. Since these are small, I'm not gonna individually wrap them. Basically, all you have to do is heat this up in the microwave for, I don't know, maybe like 30, 45 seconds, and you got breakfast. All right, so here's the breakfast sandwiches. I'm gonna put the lid on these and put them in the refrigerator. Yum, those turned out really, really good looking. I'm sure they taste good too. Okay, so this is what the chicken stock is going to look like once it is boiled for about an hour, or simmered rather. I do think that making stock with an already roasted chicken does make kind of a richer broth, but you can do it with a regular chicken as well. So anyway, I'm going to strain this out into a container, and then we'll be ready to start on the soup. Okay, so this is how much chicken I got after I picked it all off of the bones, after I simmered it. Probably about 1.5 cups, which will be fine for our soup. You don't need a ton of meat, I guess you would say, in a soup like this, because there's gonna be rice and stuff in here. So right now I'm just cutting up my carrots. If I had to guess, I don't know, I'm probably gonna use about 1/3 of this bag of carrots, and then I'm gonna use the others for the snack boxes and the salads. And I've got my pot over there with a little bit of butter melting so I can saute these. Okay, so I've also rinsed my rice. I just do that so it doesn't get so starchy. I'm gonna use 1 cup of it for the soup and then the other for the fish cake meal. So I'm just gonna stir this around a little bit. I don't really care about toasting the rice too much. I just wanna kind of make sure it's dried off and get some flavor on it. And then I'm gonna put the chicken broth back in. All right, so here is our completed chicken rice soup. I am going to portion this out for lunches this week. I did have to add some extra seasoning to it once I cooked it, but if you guys haven't had chicken rice soup in a while, like, how comforting is it? Come on, it's delicious. Okay, so there is a lemon in here, and I was going to tell you about that. So what I did with one of the lemons that I squeezed out for another recipe is I picked the seeds out of it and I just threw it in here, because I do think that adding a little bit of lemon juice and lemon flavor kind of like brightens up the flavor of the soup. But this turned out super good, and I'm also going to be excited to have this for lunch or for dinners or whatever. You could also, you know, make this for dinner. It's a super budget friendly dinner meal. On the side, you could make some focaccia. I actually have a recipe for that in my cookbook that is super like foolproof and easy, and it would be just an awesome, simple, like delicious supper, but still like super budget friendly. All right, so here's what we have left to make our snack boxes. So I've got some hummus, sliced up the cucumbers, we've got some carrots, some grapes left, and a few hard-boiled eggs. Okay, so these turned out really good. So I've got 4 kind of snack boxes here. I don't know, I feel like the ones with hard-boiled eggs, like I would eat those for breakfast. I normally eat breakfast late in the morning anyway. In this one, we've got cucumbers, carrots, grapes, and then this is roasted red pepper hummus that I got from Walmart. It's really good. Same thing in this one, except no grapes and half a hard-boiled egg. Whole hard-boiled egg in this one with grapes and hummus and veggies. This one could probably be a light lunch too. Actually, pair this with some of that chicken rice soup. Bam, you have a good lunch. And this one is the same as that one over there. This container is OXO. I can link these down below. This one's Rubbermaid. These 2 are Rubbermaid also. So yeah, yum. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and prep the tilapia for the fish cakes. And I'm cooking these kind of recipes or meals to completion because obviously I want to show you guys how they turn out, but I'm going to explain to you how you could prep this ahead of time if you really did want to meal prep it. So I'm going to season these with this Auntie No-No's seafood seasoning. It's really good. You could also use bay, you could use salt and pepper. I like to use some type of a seafood seasoning on these, and I did drizzle just a little bit of oil on there because I just want to make sure that they don't stick to the baking sheet. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can bake the fish and just go ahead and refrigerate it, and then that way, like when you're ready to make this meal, all you have to do is shred it up and, you know, mix it with the ingredients and make your fish cakes. Or you could also make the entire fish cake recipe ahead of time. I got a little bit much on that. And then just crisp them up in a pan whenever you want to make them. So a couple different ways you could do that. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven. These are pretty small and thin. I have my oven set at 400, so I'm probably gonna cook these for, I'm gonna do 8 minutes and see if they're cooked. It might take up to 10 minutes, but if you have larger fish fillets, you can cook it for longer. You can do this with cod, basically any type of whitefish. You can also do it with salmon. Okay, so along with the fish cakes, I'm gonna make some Instant Pot rice. So I've got a couple tablespoons of butter in the bottom of the Instant Pot. You could also use olive oil, and I'm gonna put a cup and a half of rice in. That's the remainder of the rice from that 1 pound bag. Okay, and then I'm gonna put in 1.5 teaspoons of dried basil and 3/4 of a teaspoon of, you could use garlic salt or seasoned salt or just regular salt. I'm using this seasoning blend. And we do want to toast this rice just a little bit before we put the liquid in. You can add water at this step, but I have some of the chicken broth that we made left over, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. I'm also gonna add the lemon zest, and then I also juiced half of the other lemon. I'm gonna add that as well. This is like a lemon kind of rice. I was gonna say rice pilaf, but it's not really rice pilaf. Okay, and then this just has to cook on high pressure for 6 minutes. This is one of my newer Instant Pots, and sometimes I forget how to use the buttons. Okay, and then we'll let it do a natural pressure release, which just means that we'll let it sit until the pressure valve on the top drops down. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the fish cakes. You can see that after my tilapia was done, I went ahead and put it in a bowl here to cool. And I'm just gonna use this little fork tool, which I can link it down below. I got it on Amazon, I really love it, to kind of break the fish. You just wanna make sure that there's not any like super large pieces. We're gonna mix breadcrumbs in here, some mayo. I know mayo sounds weird, but keep in mind all mayo is really just eggs and a little bit of oil, so it helps bind it with the breadcrumbs. You could also use a beaten egg if you don't want to use mayo. And we've already, seasoned this fish pretty well, so just keep that in mind when you make the fish cake mixture. You don't want to add too much more salt. And I've seen people do this with tuna before also. Obviously it's already cooked, so you wouldn't have to flake it, cook it and flake it unless you were using like, tuna steaks. Okay, this is the remainder of the green onions, so I'm gonna add those. We'll do about, I think that's probably about 1/4 cup of mayo. Breadcrumbs, I normally don't measure this. Like I said, I'll leave measurements down below, but especially recipes like this, you really kind of have to cook a little bit by feel. I'm gonna add some seafood seasoning, just a little bit, because it depends a lot on like how dry your fish is, how much fish you have. The amount of fish that you have may not be the exact same as the amount the recipe was tested with. And so I always just say, if you make a recipe and it's not quite turning out like you think it should, just improvise to, add more or less, whatever you would like. You want it to be like cohesive enough where it can like form together into a little cake, because we're gonna fry them up in a skillet. Feels like pretty good to me. They are, a little bit delicate. I think that's it. I'm gonna let this sit for a second and let the breadcrumbs kind of absorb some of that moisture while I heat up the oil. Okay, I've got a pan here. I'm gonna drain some of the liquid off these green beans, and we'll add these. And then I like to just add some butter, and then I season it, and I just reheat these like over medium heat for about 5 minutes. And I know it's canned green beans, but everyone loves them. All right, so I've got my oil heating up here. I'm just using vegetable oil, but you could use avocado oil or canola oil. You could use olive oil. I normally don't like to use olive oil to shallow fry things in because it can brown a little bit too quickly. I just try to make them like a little bit bigger than a golf ball and then flatten it out. My kids love these, and if your kids are like scared of fish, I know some kids are, definitely try these out. They're very like mild in flavor, and I just feel like it's a really kid-friendly thing. And I'm probably gonna get about 8 out of this batch. And since these are already cooked, you're basically just browning them on one side and getting them crispy. So after this, I'll wash my hands and we'll get a paper towel lined plate to put them on when they're done. Okay, so these are, I will say, like a little bit hard to flip. If you have like a tiny little spatula, that works the best. I will say that I normally don't put as much oil as I did today when I fried these. I normally just put like a small, tiny like layer of oil on the bottom, but I kind of went overboard because I had like just enough oil left in the bottle of vegetable oil, and I was like, oh, I'll just use the whole thing so I can get rid of the bottle. Okay, so here is our rice from the Instant Pot. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a stir. It smells so good. I love that lemon juice in there. And the other reason why I like making rice in the Instant Pot is because it has a keep warm function, so you can keep it warm in here. Okay, so here's what these look like when they're done. You definitely want to drain them on paper towels because they will be a little bit oily. Now I've got my rice, I gotta grab my green beans. All right, so here we go. Budget dinner. We got our fish cakes, lemon rice, green beans, super not fancy, still delicious. I have a little bit of everything aioli in the fridge, and that's what I'm gonna eat with the fish cakes. But sometimes my kids eat them with ketchup. I don't know, fish sticks, ketchup, you know, or you could use tartar sauce. Okay, so I will have the link down below for you guys to check out Warby Parker if you want to get glasses or sunglasses or contacts. They are fabulous, and I've been using them for a long time. Also, don't forget that I will have a link down below where you can download today's shopping list and recipes so that you can do your own budget meal prep for around $50. Let me know which of these recipes you guys are gonna try in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.